Hi, I'm Luke Evans, CTO at Indicee. Now, recently, Wayne Eckerson from TechTarget put together a great video on BI mashups. Now, he talked about componentizing the various aspects of the BI process so that they can all be mashed up on the fly. And this idea of making different BI components shareable and reusable is something that we're passionate about here at Indicee. So today, I'm going to take things a step further and show you how at Indicee we're taking this theory and putting it into practice. So as Wayne explained, the BI process typically involves 5 steps. First, you have to connect to your data, and then you need to integrate and transform that data into a form that can be queried. So then a query can happen, and that can produce the displayable reports and dashboards that you eventually will be sharing with your users. Now, what's interesting about this is if various points along the way here, developers can capture and save objects that can be used by business users, then we have a way for those business users to mash together content into useful things for themselves and for others. Now, our goal here at Indicee is to allow mashups by business users at every stage of the BI process, and not just at the reports and dashboarding stage, but in fact all the way back to the original data. Many BI tools allow you to mash together reports into dashboards, and this is easily the most well-understood example of a BI mashup. And Indicee is no exception here. So let's call this a content mashup. Now, Indicee makes it easy for business users to share that kind of content with others. And that might even include taking a dashboard and snapping that inside another dashboard to make some compound content that is then shared with others. And that actually leads us to another kind of mashup, which we could whimsically call a group mashup. And we have that in Indicee, because in Indicee we have a very flexible group system that allows data and content to be shared and delivered to people. And these groups can be either organizationally aligned or completely transversal. And we also have a separate, very fine-grained permission system that allows and ensures that the right data is getting to the right people. And so, mashups at the display and delivery stage of the process can easily be achieved just by business users. And each business user has their own report library in which they can create reports and dashboards themselves, or they can just reuse content shared to them. Now, if we go further up the process here, we can look at how reports in our library are made. And they're in fact a kind of mashup themselves, using Indicee's question panel. And the mashup is made from what we call question terms. And these are also available in a user's data library. So the question panel in Indicee enables business users to simply ask questions of their data without knowing any formal query language. And this is made possible because Indicee automatically handles the data processing that would normally be considered a part of the data transformation stage. So we're almost back at the beginning of our BI process. Now in Indicee, data is inherently combinable and shareable. So once your IT guy has it plugged into the system as a data set, then just a few steps later in our modeling tool, you can produce the shareable question terms that I mentioned. And these can actually be achieved by your more tech-savvy business users because Indicee automatically figures out all of the underlying complexities for you. And so this is another kind of mashing up that's possible in Indicee, a data mashup or a data federation. Now all the usable and shareable data sets live within the aforementioned data library. So that includes any data that you've owned or is shared to you and any question terms that you've created on that data. So now let's look back through the whole process, start to finish. And you can see that the business user is creating mashups at every stage of the process. They're able to combine data from a data set to create question terms. They can then combine question terms to make reports and dashboards. And finally, they can share these reports and dashboards with different users, different groups of users. Okay, so let's bring this all back to the potential benefits of mashups. Is it codeless? Absolutely. We've almost entirely removed the need for code in the entire BI process. It's user-driven. Business users are involved much earlier on in the BI process, and the creation of new informational content is really easy. So it's obviously self-service. And it's agile. By making the process shorter and less complex and more robust, it's easy to change things. and it's also much easier to start with a small BI project and scale it with new data. And so that's Indicee's take on BI mashups. Thanks for listening.